Hey guys, welcome to another Double Tap on YouTube. I am Stephen Scott.
And I am Shaun Priest. Hello.
Shaun, are you any good in the kitchen?
No, I'm absolutely terrible. I cannot cook for anything. No, I'm... And you know what? Since losing all of my usable sight, I'm scared of cooking. I've said it.
Oh, here we go. Here comes the excuses. Here we go.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't want to go in the kitchen. It's scary in there.
And I can't wash up either.
And you can't load dishwashers properly when you're blind. This is also a big thing. Do you know this? It's a very difficult issue indeed. Well, listen, thankfully today, we're not going to talk about cooking, but we are going to be cooking with Kayaker. He's back. Hi, Kayaker.
Hello, guys. How are you doing today? Yes,
I'm
Shaun. Yeah. Shaun,
Yes.
You can cook. You can cook. You can do it. You can do it.
Listen,
cooking with Kayaker. There's a show
Cooking
in
with
the
Kayaker.
making.
Yeah, there we go.
He absolutely can, because I've seen him do a mean turkey dinosaur. So
Well, we will get on to how I actually cook in just a second, because that's part of it. The safe
know how
way
you
to
cook.
do it.
Yeah, so do I.
Badly.
Hello, KFC takeaway. Yes. Can you deliver to?
Dial a dinner. Yeah, that's him.
It's true. It's true. I will admit it. Most of my meals are takeaway, are deliveries. It's absolutely true.
But you know what? So is half the world. I mean, I remember during the pandemic, someone said this line. It wasn't me. I wish it was. Someone said, you know, well, half the world's inside ordering food. The other half are out delivering it. And it's so true, you know, and that's kind of where we're still at today, right? That still goes on all the time. People just love doing that, and I understand it. And actually, it's a bit like the Amazon thing. People get all pissy about, you know, using Amazon because it's like, oh, you can't, you know, Amazon's terrible and they're terrible to their workers. And it's like, yeah, I know, look, things are not great over at Amazon. I understand that. But equally, from a blind person's point of view, you know, it's so much easier to order things online. They have made it so easy to do. And it makes my life a million times easier. If you ask me to go into a store these days and buy something, it is like climbing a mountain with a fridge on my back. Not a good idea.
Honestly, a lot of the time, I can't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it. And you're absolutely right. Look, we can recognize the problems with the service like Amazon, and we can criticize it, but we can also recognize the difference that it's made.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, let's get to cooking, because you're kind of talking here more about cooking outside, because it's that time of year where, you know, you have what's called a cookout. Is that what you call it, a cookout?
A cookout, yes. We have cookouts on Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, holidays, all here. So from May to September, we're outdoor cooking all the time. Hamburgers, hot dogs, you name it.
A barbecue.
Yeah, they do a barbecue. That's what we call it. A barbecue, which is every Saturday from here on and into eternity, because that's what they do.
Well, barbecues here. Well, truthfully, a barbecue is more of a slow smoked barbecue, like a Southern style barbecue, BBQ. That's a little bit different. So we've got grilling and we've got barbecue over here. So
I'm hungry.
Okay. Yeah, this is going to be a difficult episode to get through without reaching for the phone. Making some orders in the middle of this. Okay, well, look, let's kick off with that, because I want to talk about a range of different devices you use, and I thought it'd be an interesting topic because, you know, we don't talk about cooking. We might talk about the kitchen, and we will, because I know, Shaun, you want to talk about how you cook. But
yes,
you know, when you get outside, I must admit, I mean, I'm nervous enough, like you, Shaun. I'm nervous enough in the kitchen as it is. Going outside doing a barbecue, I'd love to do it. You know, if you get family around, it's such a cool thing to do. You know, I've been watching way too much of The Sopranos recently, and there's lots of things I take from Tony Soprano. Some I perhaps shouldn't, but one in particular, you know, is his obsession with grilling outside. You know, he's standing there being the guy and just doing the grilling thing, and everyone's like, "Ooh, look at him!" And I want to be that guy. So tell me, how can I be Tony Soprano?
well, step one is get a gas grill or a pellet smoker. It's that easy. You just need an outdoor heat source. And that's the first step. And what's nice about them these days, at least, is that they have tactile controls. It's not too hard. It's turn a valve and push a button and thump, you get fire.
Thump. That's not a good sound. I don't like that sound.
For the gas anyway. For the
better than
pellet
kaboom.
smokers, yeah, it's better than kaboom. It's better than kaboom.
That's true.
And for the pellet smokers, it's literally just push a button. And it comes on. It's as easy to use as a
Right. Okay, hang on. Let's wind back. So
all right,
let's start with what did you, the kaboom one? What was that one?
Okay, so a gas grill.
Grill, right? So gas grill. Give me some dimensions here. What are you talking about? What kind of device are you talking about?
Oh, there's a range of sizes, but I will say that the standard size is probably maybe 4 feet wide, and it maybe half a meter of it is sort of a lift-up lid where there's a grilling grate. So you've got two grilling grates, maybe about 600 square inches of cooking surface, so maybe 24 inches by 28 inches or so, or 30 inches.
Okay.
That's what we're looking at, and side shelves or maybe a front shelf. So, and it's on a cart, so it's a pretty big device. It's probably a little bit wider than your traditional stovetop. And it's got, at least here, there's two ways to get it. You either hook up a natural gas line to it and it's fixed in location, or you get a little 20-pound external propane tank that you hook up to it with a hose.
Right.
So that's it burns gas, either liquid propane or natural gas.
And what have you got?
I've got a liquid propane Weber Genesis grill. So it's got 3 burners and about 600 square inches of cooking space. And the controls on it are very simple. There's a valve at the tank to turn on the gas on or off. There are 3 burners that control the flow of heat in 3 different spots of the grill. And then there's a start button. So it's as easy to get it going. You basically just open the valve, turn on the first burner to start, and push the button. And it's a little battery-powered electric shock, and you hear chick, 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 and eventually hear the gas will ignite with a thump, and you'll feel the heat. And then you can turn on your 3 other burners and adjust it to the temperature that you desire. And you're ready to go in about 5 minutes.
That sounds simple. And
It is extremely simple.
Almost by its very nature, accessible, right?
Yes. There's nothing inaccessible about the grill other than maybe the analog thermometer that's in the lid, which actually isn't very reliable in the first place. But yeah, that's it.
Well, that's
very
the other
easy.
thing as well. I mean, getting over the actually operating the device, right? The barbecue, as I'm going to call it. It's knowing when the food is done. You know, I'm so terrified of giving people food poisoning by either not cooking it enough or just being,
Depends who they are. There's some members of the family. Yeah,
that's
you
true.
don't mind so
Yes.
much. Yeah.
Or burning it, beyond recognition.
Well, I can't recommend this product enough. It's by Thermoworks. It's their talking instant read meat thermometer, and it is in Celsius and in Fahrenheit, and it's as simple as pushing a button and placing the probe into the meat that you're cooking, pressing the button, and it'll tell you the internal temperature of the meat to the nearest degree. And that's the only way to know when your food is cooked enough, truthfully. You can't really tell by time. Although I've had enough experience and I know my grill well enough that I can probably do it without the thermometer just based on the thickness of the meat and the temperature of the grill. So, but that comes with experience. But the meat thermometer is the sure way to get it right. And the Thermoworks instant read talking thermometer, I think it's about $40 US, is very accurate and very accessible. It's what I use every day.
Cool. I like the sound of that a lot.
So when the food is cooked, I mean, the unit is obviously warm. So, I'm thinking about you transferring that to a plate. How are you doing all that safely?
I'd use my fingers. I just reach in and there's a couple.
Right, okay. Just about to say,
believe
we
you.
better slap a. Well, I know Sean would do that.
Yes,
Sean would do
that's
it.
true.
Just
No.
slap up a "Do not try this at home" on the screen. But no, it's all right. It's fine.
There are a couple things that I use. So I have a set of grill tongs, which are sort of little tongs. You squeeze them together and they grab things. They're good for things like chicken breasts, hot dogs, sausages. Anything that you can sort of grab and small and it's easy. You just squeeze them. You can just feel around like a picture a tiny white cane like chopsticks. You just find the food, grab it, and take it off the grill or flip it. The other thing is just a simple spatula, a grill spatula. It's got a long wooden handle and it's got a bigger metal thing. You just flip burgers on it and stuff like that. So spatulas and tongs. And the other thing that is really great are these, they're kind of like insulated silicone grill gloves. So when I kind of was joking when I said use your fingers, but when you have these gloves on, you actually can. You can just reach in and just flip something, and it's designed to sort of it's great for barbecue when you're trying to like grab a huge pork roast or something like that and get it in. You can just grab it with your hands with these gloves on, and the food's safe and it protects you from the heat. And they're like, it looks like you could kill someone. It's like you'd see something in Dexter or something where he's chopping up a body and throwing it in the bag, but no.
They're amazing. This new silicone material, by the way,
it's phenomenal.
We've got baking trays made of this, and when we first got it, you can't put that in the oven, surely, because it's just it just feels like really thin plastic. And we've got the same oven gloves. Usually, I mean, old oven gloves were like wearing duvets or eiderdowns on your hands. They were huge, like boxing gloves. But that's a really good point. They're really good.
Yep. Yeah. So that's how I deal with things on the hot grill.
So what about the smoker? I've never really heard of that. I think this is a very American thing, smoker.
It probably is. Smoked barbecue. You think of it as Texas, Tennessee, the South. It's a low and slow form of cooking with smoke. So I first got into this because I like pulled pork barbecue sandwiches. Going down visiting some places in the South. Texas has some great barbecue places, and it's really good. And I basically said, why can't I make this at home? I like this so much. Why can't I make it at home? So I did a little research, and the first one that I bought was the Weber Smoky Mountain sort of bullet grill. And this actually used charcoal and wood chunks, and the only way to control the temperature was with vents. And that was really risky for a blind person. You talk about I would go out and hose down my deck with water just in case. You light the match with the flame. This is dangerous stuff, but I did it anyway.
Yes.
Wow.
And you're controlling fire, and it's hot, and it's crazy. But then I discovered the joy of the pellet smoker, which is basically using sawdust that they compress under high pressure to squeeze them together and make tiny little pellets. They're kind of like little dowels, maybe like rabbit food type size stuff, if you've ever had a rabbit. Little tiny dowels that are about maybe half an inch, a couple centimeters long, and very, very narrow. And these go into a hopper, and you plug in the smoker to an electrical outlet, and it controls an auger motor that feeds the pellets into a fire pit at a controlled rate, and it ignites the pellets in the fire pit with an electric starter. And then the electric starter turns on, and then the fire is self-contained. It keeps feeding fuel into the fire pit. And what is awesome about that is it's easy to use as an oven. You set the temperature to whatever you want, and the thermometer inside the grill monitors it and controls the airflow to the fire and the fuel rate into the fire pit, and it keeps the temperature perfectly set within a couple degrees throughout your cook. And that's what you want if you're doing barbecue. You want to do it at 225 Fahrenheit, or maybe what's that, about 103 C-ish or so, maybe a little bit more, 105 C. I don't know about that.
Yeah, we don't know. It's fine. Yeah. Numbers. Yes.
And it just you get this smoky wood fire. It smells phenomenal as it goes cooking throughout the day, and it comes out, and it is delicious. The Shaun, for you, think of a McRib, but a million times better. Okay, that's all I can say.
Oh yeah, I can imagine it. It sounds amazing. But you mentioned as it cooks throughout the day. How long are you going to cook on this thing?
It depends on what you're cooking. My favorite thing to cook is a Boston butt pork shoulder, and this is about a 9-pound piece of meat. And you basically put it on, and it cooks for anywhere from about 10 to 15 hours. And you just let it smoke all day. So I'll throw it on before I go to bed, and usually mid-afternoon it's ready to come off. You let it cool and settle a little bit, then you pull it, and it's ready for dinner. Yeah, it works fantastic.
Well, that's the thing, though. You got to have confidence in it that you're going to bed leaving it going, right? I mean, this thing is safe. You're that confident.
Oh, it is totally safe. There's no risk of the pellet smokers are self-contained. It's as safe as any. You're not going to risk fire at all. It's very self-contained, very easy to use.
I just need to do my journalistic duty and ask this question: how many times have you moved house in the last sort of 3 years?
I have only zero times. I could say I've been in this house for about over 25 years.
So success is when the house isn't in flames.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now the real question is how many times I had to rebuild my deck after it's been burnt down. But that's another question.
Okay. I mean, look, it does sound great. I will admit, I love the idea of all of this stuff, but it does slightly terrify me. I mean, immediately I'm thinking about the overnight thing. That does raise concern for me. I've got to say, Shaun, this kind of makes our air fryers, as I know what you want to talk about, it kind of makes air frying seem a little bit tame, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. We need to man up a little bit. I don't know though, but I mean, barbecues and things like that is nothing I've never really got into. Maybe that's just the weather over here in the UK. We don't get the chance very often, but it's definitely very interesting. And the smoker, I love the idea of that. But when it comes to everyday cooking in the house, the air fryer, as you mentioned earlier, Stephen, is the thing that's made all the difference to me. I mean, I wouldn't cook anything at all. I recently, well, what is it now? 6 years. Wow. I moved into a new place and we had the kitchen ripped out and put a new one in. And I still don't have an accessible hob. I still hate using it. It's a gas hob where if I put a pan on and it's slightly not off center, if it's slightly off center, it will tip over. I mean, it's absolutely horrendous. I cannot use it. So I do all my cooking in the air fryer or the oven. And to be honest, the air fryer does everything the oven can do, just quicker.
Yeah, stoves here, I recently lost my stove due to, just wore out over time. And I had a hell of a time finding a replacement that is accessible with touch screens and, digital controls. And it was a nightmare to find something they actually use. And it was like a cheapo electric one. It doesn't have a lot of features. It's not very good, but it's the only one that I could use that, would allow me to boil a tea kettle or heat up a frying pan.
Yeah.
It was very disappointing.
Isn't that interesting, though, isn't it, that we have to go to that level? We have to sort of ask the guy in the store or the girl in the store, look, whatever the cheapest one is, that's probably the only one I can really use.
Yeah.
That seems ridiculous.
It is.
There are accessible ones out there, though, aren't there? I know over here, the RNIB used to sell an induction hob, which was accessible. But tactile.
That's talking. It was talking as well.
Yes.
So but this was a tabletop one. You got a single hob or a double hob, and you would sit this on a table. You would plug it into the wall, and you could control this. I had one for a little while, but I donated it to an organization. So I don't have it now to show you. But it was really quite. I mean, it was good. It was pretty good. The only thing I was a little bit unsure of was that you had to buy. It seemed specific types of pans to work with it.
Yeah.
That's the nature of an induction hob, though. That's not just specific
it
to
relies
an
on
accessible
magnetic.
one.
Yeah. These little
Which is good in a way, right?
Yeah, because it does away with the heat, doesn't it? Is that how it works, Kayaker? You're the science guy.
It's
Brian Cox
it's the same. It's in a way, it's the same way that's the wireless charging technique for your phones. It uses electromagnetic waves to oscillate the irons in the pan to heat it. So the stove top does not get hot. It's just the pan that gets hot.
Yeah, so it's quite a good system, and the fact it talked as well. It would give you audible feedback on the heat level and all of that. That was pretty cool. I thought the idea of that was pretty smart, actually.
It is.
Sorry, carry on.
Well, the problem I have with the flat top stoves here is I like with Shaun, I don't know where to put the pan. There's this flat glass surface, and I can't find, where I'm supposed to center my pan to get it under the burner. So that's the real problem that I have with stoves these days. There's no guide or template or tactile way to feel where the pan belongs on the stovetop.
Doesn't it feel like the kitchen is the place, the one area where there's still a lot of work to do when it comes to accessibility, when it comes to appliances, at least?
I think appliances in general have a lot of work to do with accessibility. The only saving grace is the proliferation of smart appliances and the voice control stuff. That mainstream feature has allowed us to be able to control a lot of our things through our smart devices, and that makes a huge difference in accessibility. This was a bad year for me with appliances. Just about every appliance I had broke. Stove, dishwasher, washer, dryer, they all went. And the only way I could get something that worked well with those was to get sort of a high-end one that had the smart capabilities. Granted, I love them. They work pretty well. The dishwasher's the best. The Bosch dishwasher's fantastic. Works great. Love Bosch.
And is that controlled by the app?
Yeah. I can control it with the app, and I also have it hooked up to my Echo devices, so I can literally say, start the dishwasher on auto program, and off it goes. And I love it.
I've heard a lot of good things about Bosch, because especially with, as you say, with the app control. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? But if you don't have the community talking about it, you do get a little bit nervous, because you'll hear someone say somewhere, "Oh yeah, I've got a Bosch dishwasher." In your case, and you think, "Oh, that's great." But then I think, well, what if I buy a Bosch washing machine or some other Bosch appliance? Is it going to work the same?
Well, I can tell you with the one nice thing about the Bosch app, and I've never seen this before, is they have a simulation mode. So everyone today could download the Bosch home appliance app. I think it's Home Connect or something, but search for Bosch on the App Store. And you can pick the appliance and simulate what it's like to control it through the app.
Wow.
And you can learn if it's accessible or not for you. And that is just brilliant in my I did that before I bought my dishwasher. It was like perfect. This is
Yeah, I
great.
tried so many washing machine. Well, I was looking for a washing machine, an accessible one, and I was downloading the apps. And of course, as you mentioned, a lot of them will say cannot find a device.
Right.
So you can't test the interface out. So that's a really good idea. I love that.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Samsung, Miele, I believe they are very good brands for accessibility. They're Samsung putting a lot of accessibility into it, Miele especially.
Yes.
On the low vision end, for sure. I haven't had a chance to try anything out recently from them beyond that. But, it is interesting that we're starting to get there. It is interesting, though, just focusing on cooking. It seems the most accessible way to cook is with an air fryer inside and a gigantic gas oven outside, which is ridiculous when you think about it.
Well, most Americans who do their barbecue will always have their gas grills. So it's a very common thing to have here in the States. I don't know about over there, but...
No, over here we use charcoal, which I guess is, it's kind of seen as it's like the right way to do it. You chuck all this charcoal into a
charcoal briquettes.
pot.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And then you set fire to them, hope for the best. And then you're hoping for two things. One, the charcoal to light, and secondly, for it not to rain.
Yeah.
And if both those things happen, and it's the rain doesn't happen and the fire does, you can have a great day. But it can also go
Everything tastes
horribly
of
wrong.
petrol on a British
that's
barbecue.
right.
Fire
Don't use
lighters
petrol
and
on them,
charcoal.
Shaun. That's a terrible idea.
Right.
It will get the fire moving quick, but it's a little bit dangerous to everything around you, including eyebrows and homes.
We mentioned air fryers, Kayaker, but I know you use some other gadgets in the kitchen.
I do. The one that complements the gas grills a lot, and I think this is a great thing for blind individuals, and I've mentioned this before on other shows, but it's the Sous-Vide. Anova makes several Sous-Vide models, and for those of you who don't know what Sous-Vide is, it's under vacuum. So you basically take vacuum-sealed proteins or vegetables, and you put them in a very controlled temperature water bath, and through thermodynamics, the food inside the bag reaches the same temperature as the water bath. And why this is so good is that you're guaranteed never to overcook your food. So if you want a medium rare steak, you set it for, 57C, 135 Fahrenheit, and put your protein in there. And 2 hours later, your steak will be that temperature, and it's a perfect medium rare. There's no overcooking all the way through perfectly. The only problem with sous vide is to get that last little bit of, caramelized char on the outside. You usually want to sear it in a pan really quickly. So what I would tend to do is after it's sous vide, I'll take it out to the grill, turn the grill up high, and just sear it on 1 minute on each side just to get that sizzle on the grill marks. So it tastes like it just came out of the grill at a restaurant. But a lot of restaurants do that. They will sous vide proteins. It's great for fish, chicken, some vegetables. And, of course, most meats works really well.
And all the controls are accessible?
I use mine through the Anova Culinary Bluetooth app. And, yes, you basically set the internal temperature, set the temperature for your water bath to the right temperature and how long you want it to go. And it just beep, 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 and starts going on, and it'll let you know when it's ready. Yep, all through the app on your iPhone.
Wow.
Very nice.
Kayaker, it's been great talking to you. I've learned so much. I mean, I have to be honest, the one thing I'm going to do is go off and get that Bosch app now and have a try at these different appliances. It's going to cost me serious money now, I think.
But Bosch is a pricey brand.
yeah, but that I love that simulation mode. I had no idea that existed. That is amazing. Yeah. Come back soon, talk more about stuff because we enjoy it. And in the meantime, leave your comments. Tell us what you think. What are you using at home? How are you using to cook? I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can email us, of course. You can leave a comment below. Email us feedback@doubletaponair.com. You can call our listener line, 1-877-803-4567. Or you can always find us online and on social media. We're at Double Tap On Air. Thank you, Shaun Priest, as always. It's been fun.
Thank you. It's always fun, Stephen Scott. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Turkey Twizzlers for tonight?
Of course. Dinosaurs if I'm feeling exotic.